Mistakes hurt. Not always loudly. Sometimes they hurt in silence, in replayed memories, in sleepless nights, in the quiet weight of knowing. I should have known better. And that thought can haunt you, because mistakes have a way of staying longer than success ever does. Success feels good, but mistakes stay sharp. They echo, they return when everything is quiet, to remind you what went wrong, what you missed, what it cost. And for a while, you may hate them. You may resent the choice, the risk, the failure. You may wish you could erase it, undo it, rewrite that moment and choose differently. But life doesn't move backward. It teaches forward, and that changes everything. Because your last mistake, if you let it, can become your greatest teacher. Not your shame, not your identity, your teacher. Because pain has lessons comfort never could. Pain gets your attention. It forces reflection. It slows you down long enough to finally see what pride ignored, what emotion rushed, what fear avoided. Mistakes expose patterns, weaknesses, blind spots. They reveal where growth is missing. And truthfully, that revelation hurts. Because now you cannot unsee it. Now you know. And knowing comes with responsibility. To grow, to adjust, to stop repeating what already broke you. That's the real purpose of a mistake. Not punishment. Awareness. It shows you where your thinking failed, where your boundaries were weak, where your ego spoke louder than wisdom. And once you see that, you have a choice. Repeat it, or rise from it. Many people repeat pain because familiarity feels easier than change. They call it bad luck, bad timing, bad people. But sometimes it's unlearned lessons, the same mistake wearing a different face. Until you learn, until you change, until you stop blaming and start understanding. Because growth begins the moment you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? That question changes everything. It turns regret into wisdom, pain into perspective, failure into fuel. Because suddenly, the mistake is no longer the end. It becomes instruction, a painful one, but powerful. And powerful lessons rarely come gently. Sometimes they cost relationships, opportunities, time, trust. Sometimes they cost the version of you that was too naive to know better. But maybe that version needed to end. Maybe the mistake didn't destroy you. Maybe it introduced you to the wiser version you were meant to become. The one who pauses, who sees clearly, who notices signs sooner, who values discipline over impulse. Because now, you move differently, not out of fear, but understanding. You know what ignoring signs costs. You know what rushing creates. You know what happens when emotion leads without wisdom. And that knowledge, that earned knowledge, is priceless. Because lessons learned through pain rarely leave. They become instinct. They become standards. They become the quiet voice that says, not this time. And that is growth. Real growth, not perfection. Not pretending you'll never fail again, but becoming someone who fails wiser, who falls smarter, who carries the lesson instead of just the scar. Because mistakes should leave wisdom, not just wounds. So don't waste your pain. Don't let your last mistake become just another regret. Let it refine you. Let it sharpen you. Let it teach you what comfort never could. Because your worst mistake can become your greatest advantage if it changes you, if it humbles you, if it awakens you. And yes, some lessons arrive brutally, but brutality does not mean meaninglessness. Sometimes life teaches hard because the lesson matters deeply. So pay attention, not to punish yourself, but to evolve, to become someone who no longer needs that same lesson twice. Because the goal is not to never make mistakes. The goal is to never stop learning from them. And one day, you will look back at the mistake that nearly broke you and realize it built you. It taught you caution, strength, awareness, discipline. It became the turning point, not because it happened, but because you learned, because you listened, because you changed. So respect your mistakes, especially the last one. Because if you're willing to learn, your best teacher was never success. It was the pain that finally made you wiser.